Welcome, friends, to our first podcast of Voices of the Velvet Room. You've got me, 16-Bit Bear, and with me is Purplatypus. We are going to be your co-hosts, co-anchors, whatever you want to call it, on this podcast journey. Purplatypus, welcome. You want to say anything to start?
Yes. So basically, Bear is Igor. He's in charge of the Velvet Room, and I am Merope. I am the saucy sidekick character here, right? But everyone likes me more because Igor is okay. I don't know where I'm going
Yeah.
with this metaphor. All right, I'm sorry. You get the idea. All right.
Yeah, I mean, if you are Merope, you definitely are going to be more popular than bald Igor with a pointy nose.
I love Igor. Igor is so fun. I love returning characters. That's all.
Yes, and he is fantastic. Cool. Well, we're going to try to keep these podcasts more towards like the 30-minute mark, 30 to 45 minutes, so that way you can get in, get some great information, and pop out. And we were talking behind the scenes, and I think there's a great topic we wanted to cover today, and maybe a couple. But it's really, I've got this experience in KR. I've played the game before, played it for a long time, and you're coming in brand new, having never, jumped on one of the other servers. And so what is our difference in opinions, from that perspective? And I would love if you kick us off because, like a lot of viewers, this is your first time playing. So what are your initial thoughts on the game?
Yeah, so I have like a longer, like full detail breakdown kind of thing, but I do also kind of want to summarize the things that kind of like what I expected going in versus what I got.
Mm.
First, I'm gonna say it, and I know no one agrees with me. And Bear, you accurately said, it's like, hey, if you don't like the first palace, trust me, it gets better. I thought the first palace was great. I loved it. I'll admit, I thought it was a little goofy, the subway slammer. Like, I thought his kind of the way he acted out was like a little silly, but like the storytelling and development of the characters, and then the palace itself was so cool. It had
Mm-hmm.
so many
Mm-hmm.
vibes in it, just all the baseball stuff and the little mini games. So I actually thought the first palace, I think the actual palace itself is a level I like more than the second palace.
Okay.
Um, I like the mechanics of the first palace a bit more as well. So that was just something I wanted to get out of the way, and mention that no one's going to agree with me on that probably.
No,
But
okay, so go ahead. Go ahead.
no. Sorry. You go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think from my perspective, it's hard, first of all, to top like the traditional Persona 5 palaces. It's built as a single player game. So you already have like some nuance difference in the fact that you have to convert it to, the gacha scene and this type of gameplay, which is fine. I love the layout, like you said. I think the design of it was really cool. It's thematic, obviously, to that part of the story. And then the big thing I noticed for myself is having localization and the better translations. There's still some translation issues, but that just made the story feel more cohesive, a bit better than when I experienced it in KR. And also the pacing, when you're waiting for the auto translator to translate and you're literally just looking at a text box and you're like, well, it's been a minute. It feels better. So I enjoyed it more on global than I did on my KR account.
Listen, and again, I think the storytelling was very good. Although, like, I'll admit, I think the villain is like a little, I don't know, he's not like a 10 out of 10 for me or
Yeah.
anything, but I think there is more to it. Like, he's no Kamoshida, okay? Like,
Mm-hmm.
come on, that guy is perfect for like that role. But what I will say, you know what? As far as mechanically, the visual style, I actually like the palace in P5X more than most of the palaces in actual Persona 5.
Oh,
Like
interesting.
I think the actual stadium one, I like how big they are and expansive they are and how many things there are to collect. Like I had more fun clearing every nook and cranny of the palace versus like I don't know the burger joint one, even though I love Haru, but like the
Mm-hmm.
spaceship one I actually didn't like as much as I like this palace.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. So I think a lot of people would say that they like the designs of the traditional single player game, but I like that perspective that you bring. That it does beat out certain palaces. Like the burger one is one of my least favorite of the Persona 5 palaces, for sure, for sure. Awesome. So aside from the story piece, what are other things that kind of surprised you coming into this game versus maybe what your expectations were?
So there's good and there's bad things. Most of it is good. I
Hmm.
did not expect there to be such a monstrous amount of content to do. I didn't expect the like palaces to be so big, the mementos to be so big, the amount of like Velvet Room trials. I thought it would be much more
Hmm.
like spoon fed. I didn't think that there would be like I thought that if I played the game for 30 hours over 3 days like I did, I would be done. and it took me almost a week of playing with every second of my free time, more than a week, like nine
Yeah.
days of every second of my free time to get through the content that was in the game, like as the main content. So that really surprised me. I
Hmm.
just didn't think it would be as big as it was. Also, on the positive side, the individual characters you get, the Phantom Idols, Phantom Thieves,
Yep.
whatever, they are way more. There's no like in a like there's no fodder, like
Yeah.
there is in a lot of gacha games. There's no like this is a 2 star. What does he do? He does nothing. He just is there so you're upset when you pull on your banners. Like every character here has, like you could make a meme. It's like,
Hmm.
oh, what's their passive? It's like, oh, every turn generate X stacks of blank. And then it's like first skill, generate 2 stacks of blank. Skill 3, use all blank stacks and have an increased effect. Like they all kind of have like this kind of similarity in a lot of ways,
Yeah.
but they all have their own very unique feel to them, and they're all very good at specific things. So those are some of the things that I didn't expect. The characters are just way more in depth in terms of their kits than I
Yeah.
expected they were. It's not just ideal fire damage, ideal wind damage. They have specialties within their own elements as
Hmm.
well.
Well, I think it's what's cool too is as time goes by, you get more nuance into different characters, and like you're saying, just a lot of exciting ones that will come out, through the next year, obviously, because this is we can see it in the future. You get things like, yeah, it's a supporter, but this support over here is Leo, and he buffs your crit damage and attack, or you get Cord, who supercharges your highlights and can make you launch a highlight when it's not charged. And there's so many other examples you could run with, but they despite the fact that they have to live in this, elemental system of Persona, they find a way to keep innovating on characters. And I still need to read the kit of the newest one, Barry, but I'm hearing that she's phenomenal and she's just such a cool design. But that's a year from now, more than a year from now. So nothing to worry about just yet.
Yeah, I would say mechanically, like obviously each individual character has a lot of text without that many skills, so that's a little
Hmm.
bit different than Persona 5 where they just get a bunch of different skills on your characters. But I actually think like the in combat system,
Hmm.
I think I like it more than I like Persona 5 in a lot of ways. I really enjoy the highlight system.
Yeah.
Just in general. I like things like what Honkai Star Rail, but there's a point where it's like every character has an own individual alt charging and they're always alting all the time. The fact that it's a party-wide charge is really cool because if a
Hmm.
character has a really good highlight, but another character like a healing highlight, it's like, yeah, I want to do a bunch of damage. You have to weigh these options.
Yeah.
I love that in general. So I think they've really done a good job, and I like the enemies having knockdown shield as
Yeah.
well. I think that just adds more to you want more dedicated teams to specific elements, which is also different than Persona 5, where you care about variety overall. Like you
Yeah.
want to be able to cover every element every single time. Where in this, it's more like you want specialized teams. But yeah, I'm kind of rambling, but that is something I really, really enjoyed about the mechanics of this game. It's been very fun with just being in the battles.
Yeah, and I think it's a good point. What's interesting to me is they almost flip the Persona formula around, in the sense that, at least for how I've always played Personas, you get your main character to be supercharged, buffing their defense, throw concentrate on them or whatever, and your other characters become less of your damage dealers. And here it's the opposite. Like when you really get your good DPS units going, you're going to use Wonder to buff them, and it's
Hmm.
really more about that team synergy aspect where, I think, if I think about Persona 4, Persona 5 in particular, I eventually landed on a single team. And I'm like, these are the ones I'm going to really focus on, build them up, and then I'm never going to switch them out. Whereas in so many different places of content in this game, I've got to think about, hey, do I need an ice DPS? Do I need a good buffer? Could I go without a healer and really pump my score up? And I love that dynamic for the combat system here specifically.
They actually did a great job balancing this as well, where it's like obviously they give you two different 5 star weapons for Wonder. One is like all in on DPS, one is all in
Hmm.
on support. The support one's definitely better, but the point is, even if like you're just going to use Wonder as like a buffing support unit, they
Yep.
give you lots of good options for that. But they give him, at least currently, like once you get to rank 5
Hmm.
in 6 7, he has offensive personas that do things that no one else in the game can do
Yeah.
right now. Like my current favorite persona that I use all the time is Pazuzu. And Pazuzu has like this great thing where he like can attack and put curse stacks on. But his passive is every time he attacks, he has a 60% chance to put an additional curse stack and instantly trigger the curse damage.
Yeah.
So if you have like Joker and Sumi all putting curse stacks on and they have like 7 curse stacks, suddenly when Pazuzu attacks, they're taking basically 3 turn, they're taking 7
Hmm.
curse stacks while the curse stacks still have 2 more turns on there. So you could suddenly be doing 20% with a like single Pazuzu attack. So
That's nice.
there's like a lot of they did a good job of even if Wonder isn't the main damage dealer of the game,
Yeah.
if you're really determined to do it, you could do interesting things with him without just having the most like absurd numbers. Like you can get creative.
Yeah, and there's a couple points I want to bring up about that. So one is there actually is a DPS dagger for him later on, and so if you really want to push him as DPS, there will be an option. I forget when it came out, but it is out there, which is pretty cool. And they'll release more daggers all the time to create better synergies or for specific teams that you really want to focus on. So that's really
Cool.
fun. Yeah, and everyone gets so hung up in meta. And I know that's like a gotcha thing, right? You and I have played so many gotcha games over the years. And so we know, and in some games you really do. Like if you are playing, say, Ethereal Restart and you want to top the leaderboards, you're going to have to play the meta. You could probably pull around it a little bit, but eventually it is a meta game. Here, it's really about what do you want to do? What fun do you want to have? You play a lot of low rarity, units. I'm doing what I'm calling my new game plus and playing teams that a lot of people would say are underpowered. And to me, it's just fun. And I'm still clearing the content. Obviously, I'm not going to be number one on the leaderboard with some of my teams, but this game allows you that freedom to build personas, build units, and have fun with those. And I really hope that people come into the game and go with that mindset and attitude versus the what's the next best banner? Who should I skip?
100%. Like that's why we've talked about this before, but like I am low rarity pilled, I think the kids would say. Like I am addicted to using low rarity units in gotcha games, just in general. You could go back and watch my Dragon Quest Tact things. I
Mm-hmm.
pulled for that was the top meta unit that was ever released in the game for like the 1 year anniversary called like a Stark. I got a copy of them and I left them at level 1 of my account forever just to make people mad, right? And so like that's kind of always what I am. And
Mm-hmm.
so I part of this is exactly why is I like fighting against the meta to show people that they can clear content with anything as long as you're willing to put in, you build the lower rarity units or you get creative with it. You could clear all of the content in
Mm-hmm.
a satisfying way even with lower rarity units. It's not like you're never going to get in the top 1% of the leaderboard for like the fight right now if you're not using
Yeah.
Joker, right? And the top 2000, I looked at it at the leaderboard, the top 2000 players on the guild battle all have Joker,
Oh
right?
yeah.
There's not literally one without Joker. So that is, of course, that is true, but that could be true while also having like you can do like top 50%, top
Oh
20% or
yeah.
something using other stuff. So but just as a quick example, I currently have 5 characters that are at level 60. It's
Okay.
Soy, Sumi, Key, but Closer and Joker. So Joker's there because I do care about my guild content. But then it's 4 lower rarity units, and then Joker are my only characters at level 60. Everyone else is 50 or below.
Yeah. If you don't know, Purplatypus is in my guild and I razz him all the time. I'm like, you have to go get a better score. Like I put all the onus on Purplatypus and Purplatypus alone. The other 29 get a free pass.
Listen, we got some
We have
heavy
some
hitters
ballers,
right
yeah.
now.
Or I don't want to say ballers. We have some people that are cranking or cranking the scores. I don't
We
know that
got
they're
in the
spending.
top. We got number 51
Hmm.
with our top player having an A0 Joker
Yeah. Yeah.
as well. So
Yeah.
that's great. So yeah, our guys are killing it right now.
Well, and the difference between, that and being number one is so minuscule in rewards. It's not like you're getting more gems. You're getting like some coins and stuff for personas. It's not worth chasing and it's not worth losing sleep or feeling dissatisfied for. And it's another point I want to give to people is, you're not, maybe there's one player out there who is just that godly, but most people are not going to be able to contend with the top guild. And I showed this on my stream yesterday. The top guild has a note in their recruitment box that says you have to be a dolphin to apply. A dolphin is
Yeah.
someone who is not spending the, $20 a month. They're spending hundreds of dollars a month. And so that is who your number one is. Are you really wanting to put that into it? And so go with what you can get and then just realize you're not really losing much by being top 5%, top 10%, top 20%.
I mean, it's like you're allowed to play basketball and not try to go to the Olympics, or whatever. You're allowed to run track and field and not try to go to the Olympics. You can just have fun and do good and be the best in your town, maybe the best in your state. But there's like a lot of levels, right? The
Hmm.
difference between being really good and being world class at this, in this case, it, I don't want to just say it's money. Yes, they're
Yeah.
whales, but like there you have to have talent, effort, and money. You have to have like these three pillars. All
Yes.
right, you could get far, but you're not going to hit top 10 unless you have all three of them. But the point is, like, yeah, you don't need to. We accept in all other aspects of life that we're not the number one at anything
Hmm.
because it's not possible. I think Gacha is no different. You could just have fun and do well and do really good for what your account is able to do and not feel like you have to spend a ton more money to try to keep up with people that are in a different realm, of
Yeah,
reality.
exactly. Spend the money you want to spend because it's fun for you to spend. That's why I've spent what I've spent at this point. Like, I thought it was a fun joke to spend $5 to get the last rank of Puppet because I pulled freaking 6 copies of her on the standard banner. How? I don't know. That was just what they wanted to feed me. So I'm like, okay, for $5, it'd be fun to joke with the community and get a Puppet. Is that meta? No, and she's never going to be
I
like the
lo-
top meta.
I like Puppet, man. I didn't know people didn't like Puppet until everyone came into my chat. Like, why are you using Puppet? I'm like, because she scales in
Oh yeah.
power over the course of a fight. Like,
Oh yeah.
eventually she becomes insanely busted. But I mean, I like both the supports, of
No,
course, but still.
it's the same argument as always. It's someone's going to say, well, Phoebe's coming out soon, well, Futaba's coming out soon, and then there's Ange later on, like a year from now, because she's the 1 year anniversary unit. And it's true, like Phoebe, Futaba, and Ange are better navigators, with the exception of the Foxing. So Fox wants defense, so Phoebe's the play there. But aside from that one fringe case team, like, yes, I could go through and be like, yes, 10% versus 5%, 15% versus 25%. Like, it's just raw numbers at that point. But who cares? Like, it's when I'm in the Palace boss and I can still beat it with the team that I want, that I'm having fun with. I don't care if I have Phoebe at that point. Like, I'm having fun.
Yeah.
That's
Do
it.
they add Rise? Oh, they haven't done Persona 4 yet, have they?
No, no. So they have said that they will do it. So they with the roadmap they gave for the other servers is effectively Persona 3, whatever, Persona 3 Reload, and then that they would be doing Persona 4. They never gave a date for it, but they've only done 3 of the characters for Persona 3. Now they're doing Ichigo, so they're kind of, going into an original character. And then I'm not sure if they're going right back to another P3 character or not, probably. But, they've got to get through that whole cast, and that could last them months. And then
Well,
by then Rewind
they're
might
not
be out.
leaving that until they have Aegis in the game. Like
Yeah.
she's probably literally the big money like spender unit of that game. Everyone loves
Yeah.
her.
Yeah,
I
that
don't,
and
but I
Koma
mean, a
are,
lot of people do.
yeah, that and the dog. What is his name?
Yeah, and the
Komaru or
dog.
something?
I can never remember his name.
Yeah.
I'm not as hot on P3 as a lot of people are, but also a lot of people just played the remake right now. So I played like the original. I'm an old
Mm.
man. Okay.
I missed the original. I actually didn't play it till Reload. Like, I played P4G. That was my first Persona game. But
Okay.
yeah, I never played like Fez or the original version of Persona 3 when it
Okay.
came.
Imagine this, and I like the game, by the way.
Hmm.
I beat it twice. I almost beat it twice. I beat it once for sure, pretty recently. In Persona 3 Fez,
Hmm.
you don't get to control your party members. They are all AI. Only get to control your actions in party.
Okay. That'd bother me.
That is something that if you've played Persona 4 like I did, it
Hmm.
is like a shell shock. You're like, especially as the same combat system, you're trying to exploit weaknesses very carefully, and they come in and they just do the dumbest stuff. So half of the fight is trying to min-max specific fights
Yeah.
to find out how to get your characters to do what you need them to do without you making them directly do it. And I will say, it was the hardest RPG I've played in my life. I was so happy when I beat it,
Mm.
and the idea of playing a version where I can control my teammates. I'm an old man, and I'm like, you don't even know what it was like. You haven't really earned that victory until your AI guy uses a AOE ice attack on a team that reflects it back and kills your own party. You don't know
Yeah.
what it's
Yeah.
like.
It's like
So
playing a modern platformer, and then I'm like, I played Mega Man 2. Shut up.
yeah, it's like
Oh,
you
the
don't know
Nintendo.
what you don't know what it's like. Back in my day, we had to start the game over when we ran out of
You
quarters.
had 3 lives and you were done.
Anyway, I like P3 a lot.
Yeah, no, I did enjoy it. I did enjoy it. And then I would like to really kind of get into the cast in this game, at least, a few of them. I'm not going to say I love every one of them on the cast. But no, it was a fun game. It was. It's not my favorite. I'm with you on that one. P4 will always be my favorite story. P5, I think mechanically, and then P3 is still good. It's just those other two I like better.
Yeah, I mean, we could do a whole podcast just on that. I think
Probably should.
P5 Palace 1 is the best Persona's ever done. I think
Mm,
it's like literally a 10 out of 10 up to the
mm.
Kamoshida arc. Afterwards, I think it's still good. I think it's great even, but I think Persona 4 kind of is like a way better story. Although Persona 4, spoiler alert, no real spoilers, but semi. There's a big like anime kind of thing where it's like you think this is the bad guy, you beat him. Yeah, right. That wasn't the
Hmm.
real bad guy. It's this other guy.
Yeah.
Then you beat him. It's like, oh, you thought that was the real bad guy? No, this is the real bad guy. And at the end, you always end up fighting God, right? It's
Yeah.
always
Yeah. That's the
it's
Persona way.
yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. So the other thing I was thinking about on the KR versus global is I've kind of assessed what it was like to start around. It was maybe the middle of the 2.0 content cycle when I came in,
Hmm.
and now, and I thought I was gonna like it less because there was so much content when I joined KR, and there was no way for me to get level blocked because we were already done with the first half of Palace 3. And shortly after was like the second half of Palace 3. So it's almost like two different palaces, by the way. It's you thought this palace was big or the second palace is big. It's nothing compared to the third palace.
That's
So
what you said. I'm so
oh yeah,
excited.
dude,
Oh
it's
my God, I'm
it's
so
so
excited.
much content. And then you also have like so many more levels of mementos. So you could have gotten to level 80 basically doing the palaces of mementos and your dailies. And you would have never gotten the get to level 30 because you didn't have stuff to run out of. But I came here, I hit the 26 roadblock, and I never had to spend stamina pots to get over it personally. And I don't know if that's because I actually got to the point of doing dailies on night one. And so I had that extra bump of dailies, and maybe that was the difference. But I actually like it better. I like the pacing better because it's not so 10,000 systems, because there was just more to do. And that meant there was more weeklies to get done, more of this over here, more of that over there. And yeah, it also meant that I had, more gems that I could get because there was more content to farm. But I actually like having the somewhat slower pace of, okay, I can just focus on the palace today. I can just focus on crossing fates today. I can just focus on mementos today. And then I know here in like 3 or 4 days, the next content patch hits. So it's more fun for me that way.
Yeah, no, I agree actually like 100%. I mean, what is the theme of, and well, maybe not the actual theme, but like roughly the theme of Persona 5 that you see every time you log in, they make you read it all the time. It says very specifically to all of us, take your time as part of the
Mm-hmm.
loading screen, right? Like that is the game doesn't want you to just absolutely blaze through the content. They want you to smell the roses, you know?
Yep.
So I actually think the pacing of this has been fun. And I know life this for a while, and I'm just now getting to the point where it's like I have like I could probably spend an hour a day doing things that are relevant to progression, and now I'm kind of just going in and looking for achievements to have fun, you know. So
Yeah.
I think the pacing is good, and as far as the experience goes, like yeah, like the reason you probably didn't have to like keep in mind, it's if you spend one coffee you get 60 stamina, right?
Mm-hmm.
60 stamina is about 1,500 experience, right? So that's like 1,500 experience. You get 9,000 from your dailies. So
Yeah.
you're getting like, yeah, you get so much more just from your dailies than you do from literally anything else. So yeah, one daily would have spent like, I don't know the math, like six coffee pots or something. So people are like, I'm stuck. What do I do? It's like, well, it's because you get 10,000 every day for logging in, man.
Yeah.
Like that's where a lot of your experience is coming from. Like you could do all the palaces and stuff, and you'll get a couple thousand here and there, but all of mementos, if you do all floors of both mementoses, get all the tickets to level 20,
Mm-hmm.
that's less or the same as one day of dailies of
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah. Dailies give
So
a crap ton.
so that is worth keeping in mind for people as well.
Well, and there's also like, why rush? There's
Mhm.
always going to be the content creator side of it, right? And you're going to see content creators right now, they're at level 60 to 70. I wouldn't be shocked if somebody did enough to get to 80. Like, that would not surprise me at all. But you rush through the content and you're ignoring all the side stuff. Like, why? Like, I just don't understand, like, what it is that you're rushing into.
Yeah, I mean, for those people, I think it's mostly about getting leaderboard stuff, right? Because
Mm,
if you have level 80, 90 characters, you're gonna beat the people with level 60 characters, even if they have maxed out Joker and you have maxed out, right? Like those numbers do make a difference. But
yeah.
there is rushing, which I'm kind of like rushing, but then there's like a whole level of like just blind sprinting to the end, you know. I think like I want to be relevant and I want to be ahead of the pack
Yeah,
without
yeah.
being like the only person that have ever made it to that point yet, because it just there's nothing there. And when new content comes out, I don't want to trivialize all of it, you know, like right away.
Yeah, I mean, thankfully, a lot of content will scale with your level. That's another
Okay,
thing I
that's
don't
good.
think a lot of people realize. Obviously, like your lower level Velvet Room trials and stuff aren't going to, and there's going to be like some boss fights where it's like, round one is level 40, round two is level 50, and so obviously those can be a bit harder. I don't know how
Hmm.
they treat the first events because I wasn't there when the first event was actually new, so I'm not going to speak to it personally. But other stuff does level with you, and so you get some relative difficulty. And then the other thing too is palace bosses. If you fail, you can decrease the difficulty because I accidentally did on stream one day because couldn't read the text.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so if you're the kind of player who just wants to come in and have fun and you don't want to care about the meta at all, just know that you can enjoy the story. You're going to have a way to get through it for the hardest fight in each of these palaces.
Yeah, I mean, that's really good. I didn't know that. There's another thing that I learned. So, you know, I guess in a way, getting to level 80 is just paying to make the game harder for yourself in some ways. But I want to be level 82 as well. Don't get me wrong. But I'm just not in a rush to get there. I was in a
Yeah.
rush to get to about 50, and now I'm like, you know what? I'm cool, man. I
Mm-hmm.
just didn't know it. Like, I don't know if when the next palace comes out or whatever the next content update, if they're going to be like, oh, you have to be level 50 to send the calling card. You have to be level 45 to send the calling card. And in case it is, I want to make sure I'm still able to do that
Yeah.
day one. So that's basically why I was making sure I'm a high enough level.
Yeah, I wish I knew, and I could probably just check on Discord to be honest. But I would not be shocked at all considering Palace One if it was just what you said, where it's like you have to be a certain level. And if anyone knows, just drop in the comments and we'll share that with the community. But yeah, I mean, it would make total sense given Palace One did it that Palace Two would do it. It never crossed my path in KR because again, like there was just more XP to get, and as the game progresses in life, there just become more and more things that are going to help you get over those humps. The biggest one is going to be your 70 to 80. That takes a hot minute. Like I was there for
Hmm.
probably a few weeks. I would guess if I remember correctly.
No, I mean, I believe it. Like, it after getting, I would say 30 to 40 was actually super quick for
Yeah.
me, and then everything after 40 has been time. That's it. It's just like, all right,
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna take time. Don't worry about it. And I think that's, I mean, again, that's fine. Like, what am I rushing to? There's not currently like level 80 content other than the end of Velvet permanent content anyway.
Yeah.
So, I'm okay taking my time from this point on, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's what I want people to come away with too is, and I always say, play your game, don't play the streamer's game, don't play the YouTube content creator's game. Like do your level of fun. And if your fun is rushing it, I'm not saying don't do that. Like I'm not looking down on somebody if they want to buy stamina and rush to 80 and get their final card sets and like min-max the hell out of the game. I have a ton of fun min-maxing. And when I actually
Hmm.
get to that point, like I will be the one who's like getting crazy with the cards and trying to get these like awesome sets going. But for now, I don't know. It's more fun for me to take it casual, and I get that I've played the game before, and so maybe some of that is an influence to me personally. I don't have that. This is brand new, and I don't know what's coming in the palace. Like I know the story for quite some time, but I
Hmm.
think for others, even still, like enjoy it, enjoy the ride, and it's a gacha. It's meant to eventually get to the point where you do your dailies and then you log off until the next content cycle.
Agreed. You know what? And what I want people to walk away with is just if you don't get the max awakening on Joker's weapon, your account is bricked. Okay,
Yeah,
keep that in mind. You'll have to re-roll every time they release a new character. Otherwise, you won't be able to enjoy the game. Remember to never actually progress. Just keep re-rolling, guys. Come
yeah,
on,
yeah.
don't give up.
Do the Vulcan from Ethereal restart. What was it like 2 weeks? He was re-rolling for Lily.
I, you
It
know
became a
what?
meme.
Vulcan has always been. I like Vulcan a lot. I've
Me
talked with
too.
him a couple times, and he likes. Yeah, he reroll. His two favorite things about Gacha games are PvP and rerolling. That's what he always does. So,
And that's Ethereal
you
for
know,
you.
yep, yep. It's a perfect game for Vulcan. Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. So look, we got a couple minutes left. Any last thoughts you have just coming out of this first week that you want to share? Any other like last minute surprises?
Yeah, you know what? I know exactly what I want to say. I want to say I did not expect Soy to a story character to be maybe genuinely a lower rarity story
Mm-hmm.
character to maybe be my favorite character in the game
Yeah,
flat
yeah,
out. And also I think genuinely like on a tier list, like A tier, like even if you're including the 5 stars, like if you're putting Haruna in A tier, I don't know. I don't think, I mean, I think she's good, but I think Soy is like actually legit, bro. I
He
think
is.
like I know I'm low rarity pilled, but like I actually think he is like he could be like one of the better supports in the game,
He's a mini
keeping
five
everybody
star.
alive. He does great damage, you know, for especially for a lower rarity because it scales with his huge HP. He has a great debuff. He has a great defensive skill. He could heal with his both his icy defense and his highlight,
Hmm.
and all the enemies attack him, and then he heals himself back up to full constantly.
Yeah.
He's like unkillable. I love him.
Yeah, he's and you know, I'll touch on that a little bit at the end here. He is 4 stars, so people sleep on him. Leo is the other one who's a 4 star that I think people are just going to kind of be like, oh, but I got this 5 star, you know, whatever. Leo, or not Leo, Shun, I used him well into Palace 3. I can't remember. He might have been on my final team for Palace 3. I don't remember. But then there's so much other content that he's valuable in. And he is like the sleeper slot in. So if you've got like your main damage dealer and then you have a buffer or a debuffer. So like if you're running Joker and Rin, I would a lot of times pull him over like say Cattle or my Ryuji team. It's Ryuji, Leo, and Shun. And I don't have a 5 star I would want to put in any one of their places. I would rather have those 4 stars than 5 stars to use that team. And I hopefully people aren't like, oh, 4 star, they got to be trash. Like, no, those two are fantastic units.
Yeah, I mean, some of the I would say nearly every 4 star, besides maybe two, are like really good. Like actually just like really good at their jobs as well.
Mm-hmm.
So people shouldn't be sleeping on them, especially I think Soy is like legit.
Yeah.
And one thing I want to see, all right, final moment here
There
that
we go.
one thing I really want to see for the future of the game, and I know they're not going to do it because it's a gotcha game, but God, just please do it. It would be so cool. All right, just fantasize with me. You get to a point where you get your, you know, your social link up with your main character, like Mahota. What's her name?
Mm-hmm.
Matoha.
Yeah.
You get her up to like rank I don't know 15 or something. She has her true awakening. Her persona evolves like it does in all the persona games. You know, their protagonist, it evolves to their true persona.
Mm-hmm.
She gets upgraded to a 5 star from a 4 star with a new persona, and it keeps the same kit, but it's all upgraded, right? They'll have
Yeah.
additional effects, additional modifiers, maybe a better passive. And then it's like, oh, it would even make sense why they started as 4 stars instead of 5 stars. It would just be so perfect. It would bring in the Persona 5 flavor.
Mm-hmm.
It would make the characters starting at 4 stars feel like a story decision as opposed to a gotcha money decision.
Yeah.
It would get people defending them starting with a bunch of 4 star characters as all the story characters. I think it's a
I would
wonderful
love
idea.
that. I would absolutely love that. And you're right. It would totally encompass the P5 or even like, I mean, P4, you got Ultimate Awakenings and things. P3 had it, I think, too, at least in Reload. It's a persona mechanic. My fear, because they've already done like multiple of the same unit, and it's, you know, they have the new 5 star, you know, Summer Moko or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so they've already shown it that way. But I think that misses the value of what you just said, which is getting their ultimate persona, you know, their version 2, version 3 of them. And how, you know, how can we make that a mechanic of the game that you look forward to? They made the mental image, which is a different like upgrade path for your character's stats later on. That could have been a perfect spot. Like when you get to that top end of that, plus your confidant rank, like you said, like bam, your awakening happens, or however you want to say it. That would have been awesome.
It's so important also from a story perspective of the Persona games. It's
Mm-hmm.
not just a power spike, even though it is, but it's like their Persona awakening is a big part of their story of them understanding like their own desires or
Yeah.
whatever, fighting back and rebelling. And then their awakening is them like really becoming to like a mental maturity of like self-acceptance. You
Yeah.
know, and it's like another level beyond just like awakening. It's you become like a complete thing. So I vote for it. Maybe the second year anniversary because the first year we know doesn't hold it.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be. It's just a dream. It's just
Sign me up. Sign me
purple
up.
platypus dream. You know.
I'm in. I'll take it all the way. So look, we could talk for easily another couple hours, Purplatypus and I, and we have a habit of talking for a very long time together. So we're going to call this episode to a close. We're going to try to bat these out, you know, weekly and see, what we can do. And if people are enjoying it, we'll keep putting these out there for you. And if you have suggestions for podcast topics, it's not going to be done in the usual, like where him and I create guides, for YouTube long form content. It's something that we can more talk about, or maybe do some little bit of gameplay demonstrations. Like you probably just saw me doing my dailies on the screen while him and I were talking. So things like that. What can we talk about that you want to hear? And again, you're getting someone who's fresh to the game versus someone who's played it for 7+ months at this point. And I think there's a lot that we can unpack there. So that's it. Drop us some comments, like and sub, not just to this channel, but please go to Purplatypus. I love the guy. He got me into content creating and kind of helped me. Well, didn't get me into content creating. He was one of the first people that reached out to me as a content creator and really kind of helped get me going. So all the love for Purplatypus. Go on his channel. There's going to be links in the description. Give him some love if you don't already know who he is. And with that, my friends, that's all I have to say. So for my outro, I hope you all take care, and I'll see you on our next podcast. Purplatypus?
The Purplatypus is Purplatypus, and we'll see you in the next one.
All right. Bye, everybody.